Hello everyone, my name is Daria. I'm the new com dev for the Division 2 and we're here today to uncover all the secrets of TU15 and Season 9. And today with me is Yannick. You all know him very well.
Hi.
It's very exciting. Back to streaming. It's been a long time for the game. I mean, it's my first stream, so I'm good, as I mentioned, but I know that is super exciting for the whole community and for the team as well.
It's just so good to be live again, to just be able to talk to all of you, and the past weeks anyway have been just amazing. Like it's been a long time. I think I talked a bit about it with some people, but it's like it's been a long wait for all of you, obviously, and for everyone that loves the game. It's been a long wait for us as well. I mean, we've been working on this and we've been wanting to talk about it for so long, and now it's out there, and now we get to talk about it as much as we want, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm very excited.
Oh yes. And also, look at that. We have a live stream room-ish. Temporary one, but it
sounds like actually a live stream, but it's a live stream room today. So
today, we've actually stolen the podcast studio from Peter, so I hope he's not going to be too mad about that. But it's some of you might recognize that table.
Can we show the table?
Can we show the table? It feels weird. I'm touching the bottom of the screen now. That table.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm bringing the cringe already. Though. Table. It still smells of Hamish, maybe a bit.
Okay, I'm not Hamish. I do not have a beard, but you'll have to put with that, guys. But yeah, maybe next time we'll have a beard. We'll see. Maybe for a Halloween, I don't know, special live stream. Or we're just gonna dress up as, I don't know, as Hamish.
You're gonna have to work on the accent. But that's okay.
Yeah, gonna be hard for me. Okay, so today we gonna show you a lot of cool new stuff, and I know that a lot of you have been waiting for a lot of time, and what you can expect to see in the stream. I'm announcing it ahead, so if you guys think that you don't want to avoid spoilers, that's information for you. So we're going to talk about the PTS results, of course. We're going to talk about Countdown new mod. We're going to talk about expertise system. We're going to probably touch on a little bit new season, Hidden Alliance, new targets, new history, continuation of the story, and a lot of other cool things.
Yes, it's all Season 9, it's all TU15. It's coming, and yeah, a lot of the things that are included in this update are out there already. We had a PTS, we'll talk about that, so all this information is already public. But it's just good to talk about it again and like try to go in a bit more details on all of those things. So
yeah, but not everything. There are still some secrets and yeah, things that you're gonna see today for the first time.
Yeah.
But then again, we're not gonna show you everything. There is still gonna be something left as a special treat for later this week, so keep your eyes on our social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Discord. Like, just follow us everywhere. That is very important, especially for me. I'm your new com dev, so give me the good numbers, you guys.
Help Daria just show our boss that she's doing a good job. So follow everywhere. Please engage with all the tweets and all the things out there.
Yeah, that's very important for us. And yeah, it's very exciting for me because I'm the new addition to the team, and it's been less than 2 months now.
How has it been?
Oh, it's been
smooth, easy, long onboarding periods, taking it slow from the beginning.
That was the longest onboarding ever, like 1 week, honestly. But then again, I'm very excited to be here. It does feel like one lifetime opportunity, and it's, I would say, a dream coming true for me, because before, and that's not really a secret, and a lot of my former colleagues know about that, I had the division as an example of how you can engage with your community and get people hyped up and heard and actually be as a valuable part of the team as well. And I think that has been very big for Division, and it feels surreal to actually now be sitting here, you know.
It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
So you mean when like engage with the community and do a good job of working with the community, you mean not the part where we were silent for a year and a half?
Definitely not that part, but then again,
recommend that, or?
yeah, no,
Okay.
I would not recommend
just
that. I
clarifying.
mean, now that I'm here, and I know that the team has been amazing, it has been doing everything in their power to get the content to you as fast as possible, but of course there are some limitations, and we can just talk a little bit about that, because that's not really a secret, and we want you guys to have that information.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've been pretty hopefully open. I'll try to be open on the situation with the game. And a while ago, it feels like a lifetime ago now, we explained that after the release of title update 12 and season 4, this was actually supposed to be our last update, and this was supposed to be the end for the support of Division 2. But then, thanks to the good performance of the game, thanks to the support of the community, thanks to all of that, it was decided that we should keep going. But you know what that means, and I think like some people in the community manage to understand that, but it's not always clear for everyone on what happens behind the scenes when we say that. Well, what happens is we had to start from scratch because since we were supposed to stop support for the game, that means we sent everyone away because we want everybody to keep their job, so we send them to other projects. When we are told we need to keep going, then it's not like, oh, wait, no, sorry, you're not going on that new project, you're coming back to the division. Like, we don't do that unless people want to come back. But so that what that means is at this point, it's like, it's cool, we get to keep supporting the game, but we need to find a team.
Yeah, basically restarting the whole process, right?
Yeah, so it's finding a team, it's relearning a lot of the processes, relearning how to work on this game, changing the way we work, because scale-wise, we're talking, of course, about a smaller team compared to what the team size we used to have. So it's not just about working the way we used to and just filling the positions with new people. It's about changing the way we work, because you don't work the same with hundreds of people as you do with dozens of people. It's a very different thing. So there was a lot of work, and of course that's what that means is that the actual work on the update did not start on the very first day. As soon as we announced that we were going to keep supporting the game, there was still a lot that was happening behind the scenes on preparing all of that, and not just preparing for that one update, but preparing for long-term support with the game, because as we've explained a few times already, this is not just about TU15, this is not just about Season 9, it's a return to continuous support for the game with more seasons after that in an entire year of content.
Already spoiling everything.
That's because I'm not reading my notes.
But no, that's...
Don't spoil year 4 all.
Too late for that, I guess. Yeah, but the good thing is that with the ongoing work on rebuilding the team and hiring new people, we're gonna have even more content in the future. Yeah,
I mean, it's secured now that we're already working on future updates, and we have tons of ideas and ambitions on things we want to do. But also the good thing is coming back now with content and with TU15 and having the PTS and having all of that, it allowed us to have a bit of a refresher, up-to-date view from the community on what they would like and what you guys want on the game. So I think it's good to have that conversation starting again, because last time we had those conversations was a long time ago. So things may have changed and people may want different things compared to what we knew back then. So I think it's great that this conversation has restarted, and now we get to think a bit more long term with the game.
Yeah, definitely. And with the pandemic and real life events, that of course also has some limitations.
Yeah, I mean it
wasn't easy for the team.
No, and even already on year 2, when we did seasons 1 through 4, the pandemic had started already, and so some of it had an impact on the year. One example that I like to use is in terms of recording. For example, recording voiceovers. That was one thing with when the pandemic started and all the recording studios were shutting down because lockdowns. We were recording the voiceovers of seasons 1, 2, or 1 was done already, but 2, 3, and 4. So we had to record as fast as we could before all the studios locked down. And so, it's all those kind of things that you don't really think of, but it's like, okay, then we record everything, and then we have very, fewer options for iteration compared to what we would usually do. Usually we would revisit a lot of that and re-record and iterate as many times as needed to reach the quality we want. But in this case, we had to be, we had to compromise on all of that because, just not everything was available the way it used to.
Yeah,
and of course also everybody working from home, which is great for some people, less great for others, because the access to the tools and all of that is just not as easy.
Yeah, when rising from the ashes is no longer a metaphor, but a description of our lives.
Yes.
And yeah, actually there is, I'm like not the only new hire, probably the most recent one, but there is another great team of people that we wanted to introduce to you guys. It's the team from our Bucharest office.
Yes.
In Ubisoft Romania, and we have a very nice message from them. Let's watch.
Ubisoft Romania was founded in 1992, and we're the first Ubisoft production studio to be founded outside France. There are currently over 1,800 employees on multiple departments: production, quality control, IT department. Today, I'm proud to say that Ubisoft Bucharest is the second largest Ubisoft studio worldwide and has a strong history of contributing to AAA franchises such as Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, Just Dance, and now Division. The work on Division 2 started on April 1st, 2021 with a team of just 15 people. We quickly grew to a peak of 35 for delivering Gear 4 on all job families: artists, designers, programmer, QA. The team was very happy to work on Division 2, working on a live game where everything happens fast. We receive live feedback from a big, great community, and you need to quickly act on it.
Working on this title represented a great opportunity and challenge. We had the chance to work with the Snowdrop engine, which was the first time for Ubisoft Romania, on a new pipeline and a well-established IP. We knew we had to get familiar with existing content and gameplay systems fast to reach the high standards set by the main game and its previous updates. One of the biggest challenges was to adapt to the workflow of a live game. Not only continue working on the new updates, but also understanding the needs of the Division 2 community.
Year 4 started from the idea of new content for Division 2 and its community. New content and new features. Together with the team at Massive, we put together several ideas for the content and features that we wanted to put in. There were several pitches related to the countdown mode and what type of mode it was going to be, how many players, complexity, and so on. As for the map, the entire team contributed with ideas related to the environment and what would fit best. In the end, we decided to go with a co-op mode with 8 players and matchmaking because it would be the most versatile option.
The map environment had to be something that makes sense with the countdown mode and that sets a fast pace straight away, but there are also size and tech constraints connected to this. What we knew for sure is that we wanted to offer the players the fantasy of exploring a surprising, inaccessible location, which is something Division excels at. So we had big shoes to fill. We investigated multiple themes and narrowed it down to 3 different briefs, out of which the power plant was a winner. Next, we did detailed research on these types of facilities and started to flesh out the different spaces, considering their identity, visuals, and moods. Countdown had to be compelling, so we constantly kept looking for ways to convey the tense atmosphere. We initially had daytime on the exterior of the map, but we felt we had to push things a bit more, so we changed it closer to nighttime. We had a lot of fun working on the map, and we are excited to be able to finally share it with the community.
What a nice video. Oh.
All those beautiful faces.
Yeah. And as Tim mentioned in the video, they played a crucial role in delivering the countdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you can talk a little more
I
about
mean,
it.
Countdown and a bunch of things in this update. But yes, I mean, Bucharest has been our main partner since we've started working on this update and on producing new content for the division, and they've been a great partner. It's really not easy to jump into a project, take over the bulk of it, and basically take over the work of someone else. I think if you would start from a game that hasn't been shipped yet, that would probably be very different. But here, taking a game that already has 2 years, that has been made by someone else, like I don't code myself, but I always hear from coders. I'm sure some people in the chat are actually coders in video games or other disciplines. You don't like to go and work on somebody else's code because everybody has a different way of doing it. So you can imagine that for them to jump into that, learning the game, learning how the game works, learning how the game was made, learning the new engine, learning all of that, learning to work with us, and all of us setting up those processes of how do we collaborate together. That was a huge endeavor, and the team really took it beautifully and did it really great. And I hope they're watching. And good job, everyone, because we're super proud of what was achieved together with the team. And yes, Countdown is one manifestation of that. It's mostly the work of the Bucharest team. We worked on the ideas together, but then actually bringing it to life was all from them. And I think they did a really good job at bringing something that matches the vision we had agreed on, and also still follows the legacy of the Division 2 and what the game is known for. I mean, that space is beautiful. You want to explore it. You want to stay there. You want to see all the details. The gameplay is fun. It's good PvP as we like to do it, or PvE. Sorry, I said PvP, not PvE, as we like to do it. And it's really been a pleasure, and it's just the beginning because we're going to keep collaborating together for the future updates. So.
And it actually, it's very nice and inspiring, especially for me as a new person, to see how every single person working on the game, no matter the discipline, super passionate about everything and wants only the best.
Yeah.
So, at least that's my kind of impression of our play sessions that we usually have with Bucharest team, which were very helpful, especially during the PTS, because it allows us to witness all the issues and bugs reported by the community and kind of get together and discuss everything and actually find the solutions. So it was nice.
Yeah, I think it's a pleasure to come to work every day because it's the team we have today with Bucharest and the team at Massive and all of that. Everybody's just super passionate, and I know that you say that all the time with teams working on video games. But for most of the people, it's people who chose to be on Division 2, people that had choices. Even us at Massive, like we could be working on Star Wars, we could be working on something else, and instead we decided to stay on Division because that's the project we're passionate about. So, and that's a vibe you get from a lot of people in that team. So it might be a smaller team, but it's a team that is just really loving the game and want to make it as good as we can.
Yeah, it's actually the silver lining that can be found almost in everything that this team does. And I'm saying that as a person who just joined, so it's super obvious for me. And it's a lot of inspiration, a lot of passion shared around the office, a lot of very interesting discussions, but we're not going to spoil it to you. Not now. And actually, I mentioned the PDS, and I must say that maybe because I'm a new dev and I was kind of helping with that one, but maybe because the content was so good, it's the most successful PDS that we had so far. And we had 19K players, even a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting and actually super productive and allowed us to uncover a lot of quite nasty bugs and issues, but that is what PTS is for, so totally fine.
It's better to have them on the PTS than having them on the game when we launch the update.
Definitely. And of course, we also received tons of valuable feedback and suggestions from the community, and we were even able to act on a lot of those suggestions. For example, countdown difficulty,
Yes.
right? Expertise, cost, and
and gear as
and
well.
gear, yeah,
changes,
balancing.
and fixing some of the bugs, and of course the delta issues that that we heard about, and all of that. So yeah, it was great on one hand to just see the enthusiasm from everyone to actually come back and test it and just try to see what this update is about. And have all those conversations and engaging with everyone, but it was also extremely valuable in terms of the sheer outcome we get out of this PTS in terms of learnings, in terms of bugs that are found and balancing changes.
Yeah. So we sincerely thank every single person who took part in testing and helped us make the game better. It won't be possible without you, so thank you so much. And yeah, I think since we kind of teased quite a lot of things about new season, it's actually about time to dive straight into that.
Yes.
And tell you everything about new season.
This is Captain Lewis of the True Sons. My advanced team is already in DC. You still have no idea what you're up against.
Full lockdown initiating.
Cool at that, right? That's super cool. I mean, I'm excited. So let's just go through everything that we saw right now. So in Season 9, which is a part of TU15 update, of course you're gonna get everything that was available on the PTS, countdown, expertise. Of course, you have seen the new Manhunt calendar and the season pass. So absolutely, totally, that's gonna be in there. And for the season pass, we're gonna get a new reward track with a lot of cool items available in there, including exotics, including Heartbreaker new gear set,
Yes.
and a lot of new cool minty gear dies that I don't want to spoil to you right now, but you're gonna see that. I mean, they're amazing. They're actually just state of the art. Amazing.
But it is, because I know that some people were not sure about that, but it is a full-fledged new season. So it's not, we've been rerunning seasons for the past year, and we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 3, 4, 2, because why not? But it is, this one is a completely new one, so it comes with all the novelty that you can expect from a new season. Yeah, new gear, new rewards, new manhunts, new story, and all of that, and even a few extras.
Yeah. And oh yeah, the Apparel event. Honestly, I was thinking there's something
there's
I
one too.
forgot to mention.
Yeah, some people were asking if
Yeah,
there would
yeah.
be new Apparel. Yes.
Two of them. At
Two
the
Apparel
same
events,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're really amazing. The designs are just out of your mind. So,
And that's also part of the, actually, to go back on new team and all that, that's also a pipeline that we have to completely restart. So I know we had said back then, when we said we would need time to bring back content, we said we would still be making new Apparel events. But, turns out that actually rebuilding that pipeline to be able to make them was also a lot of work. And that's something that our art producer, Paddy, put a lot of work into, a lot of sweat and tears, I don't know. But it's been a whole process. But now I think we've landed in a really good place where we're able to produce Apparel, and I think people will notice the quality is it's going to be pretty good.
yeah, I agree with you. And also, new season means the continuation of the story.
Yes.
And trigger warning, character death. Sorry, I needed to get it out there. So before we continue discussing countdown and expertise. I want us
Who
to.
does she mean?
I don't know.
Who's dead?
Watches. I don't have watches on me. Weird, but. So, before we start discussing
Yes.
new Manhunt, new targets,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to come clean about?
No, so no, it's there's been a lot of conversation from season 4 all the way to now about where season 4 ended, and season 9 is a direct, it's the direct consequences of season 4. It comes immediately after in our timeline. So that whole year that we waited between season 4 and now didn't happen in our story. In our story, you start season 9 immediately after the events of Camp White Oak, where you went after Feilau. And yes, Feilau is dead. She is dead. She's not coming back. You took her down, even though Isaac didn't say it. Isaac is a computer. Sometimes computers bug. I don't know. I'm sure we'll retcon a reason why Isaac didn't say anything, but no, Feilau is dead. She was always meant to be dead, and that was the reason why I'm saying that it's not as a spoiler to season 9. It is something that we had intended to be clear at the end of the season 4. It wasn't clear, but it was not unclear because we intended it that way. It's just the execution made it unclear. So that's why I want to confirm that when you go into season 9, it's not a surprise. Feilau is dead. But what happened there? Like, why did she do all of that? Why did she go rogue? Why did she assassinate the president? Why did she blame it on the division? Like, all of that, this is all the questions that we're building on for season 9. So season 9, as I said, takes place immediately after, starting directly from Camp White Oak, with, the dead body of Feilau, and allowing us to start, answering some of those questions as you go through the season. So it's really about what happened there, but also everything that is happening in the city. There are still threats everywhere, and you saw in that trailer a new enemy that is arising with Captain Lewis, who's one of the new leaders of the True Sons, and is coming for Washington D.C. And all of that, of course, will connect. And so it's a lot of story. It's going to hopefully provide some answers to the questions that showed up after season 4. Bring new questions as well, because why not? And yeah, it is overall an ambition for the entire year to just lean a bit more heavily into story and do a bit of a better job at delivering story and creating compelling story that people will want to come from season to season to unfold more of it.
Yeah, our narrative director is actually creating a lot of new surprises for us. Hello, Lauren. Thank you so much for that. I don't know. I can't really be so happy about Feilau's death, but yeah, now that cat is out of the bag, we can actually
And now
show.
it's clear, so now you can make your peace with it.
And
all
that,
of you.
Yeah.
She's dead. Not coming back.
But now we can move on to Manhunt targets, including Captain Lewis, the prime target. We're going to have in season 9, and we have a trailer for all our new targets. Let's watch this one.
Well, it looks like the True Sons are getting bolder under their new leader, General Anderson. He used to be a strategist for Ridgeway, and it looks like his ambition has reached new heights. He's smart. They're keeping him at a secure location. We're getting reports of 5 of his True Sons moving on DC. Major Castillo, a civilian turned True Son. Castillo's background is in engineering. He's been taking over radio frequencies and broadcasting these rants that, frankly, if you didn't know better, could be quite the recruiting tool. Sergeant Daniels. This woman is a piece of work. We're getting reports of her indiscriminately assassinating civilians in the street. She's on a rampage. We've also got a logistical nightmare on our hands with Lieutenant Chang. His background and experience has shored up the True Sun supply lines and weapons. We can't afford to let him build their stockpiles. Then there's Major Xander. She has some anger management issues. Xander's been torturing and interrogating civilians. I don't know what she's hoping to learn from them, but we can't allow her to carry out this inquisition. And last but not least is Captain Lewis. We haven't actually seen him in DC yet, but we've intercepted comms that imply he and General Anderson are planning something big. Agent, you know what to do.
So yeah, those are the new targets, and actually the first one, the alpha target, Castillo, is going to be available right on the day of the release, so May 12th, and you can start hunting for Castillo right away.
Yes. And then the other ones, and yeah, all the way to Captain Lewis, who's a pretty cool character.
Okay, yeah, no spoilers because we were explicitly asked by a lot of players that they want this stream to be spoiler free, so we're not gonna provide a lot of details.
We're asking people to be respectful of spoilers, so we should discipline ourselves to do the same. There's just so much good things to talk about.
Yeah. But actually, while we still have that on replay, we can start discussing countdown bit by bit, because there is quite a lot to cover. And as you guys know, especially those who were able to take part in the testing, that the countdown, the new PvE mod, is meant for 8 players, match-made players, so it's possible to find randos to play with. I know that some of you just don't like to do that, but let's agree it's much better than just try and search for people out there on social. So it would be possible for you to matchmate with other players and try and beat it. But of course, answering the questions that I can envision, like I don't have the chat here, but I'm sure that there are questions being asked there. It still will be possible for you to try and beat down the mode with less than 8 players. So if you have a group of friends with the quite decent builds and good coordination, it should be possible for you to try. And yeah, we've seen that during PTS. Actually.
Yeah, some people completed it with during PTS with much smaller groups, and difficulty was a big conversation during PTS on countdown, on how hard do we want it to be, how hard is it perceived to be, and the way we envisioned it was always if you are, there's matchmaking for a reason. It's like if you, let's say that if you are a player that either doesn't have a pre-made group of 8 or do not have the best gear in the world, you can use matchmaking. And if you find 7 other players that are in the same situation as you, just the sheer number of 8 players should allow you to get through, at least reach the point where you're completing the main objective. Extracting might be a bit more of a challenge, but you will get the rewards for having successfully stopped the events at the power plant. So the extraction is just bonus, but you should be able to get through. And of course, for players that are more advanced, that have teams that are really made, that are really good at strategizing, that have the best builds in the world, then the challenge comes into completing it with less than 8. So that's the way we try to balance it, which is making it achievable by 8 players that are not the most optimized players, and therefore the optimized players will look at completing it with less.
Yeah, we might unintentionally set people on chasing the possibility of beating it solo or with less than 8.
I have no doubt that it will be possible, and it's always the same. But it's even on PTS, people had a few days of testing, and the balancing changed quite drastically, especially from PTS 1 to PTS 2. So it will take some time, but when you look at other content in the game, at first it took a lot of time for people to complete it, and now they've learned how to master it. So I have no doubt that it's going to be the same for countdown. People will find the optimized ways to beat it, and therefore it's going to become easier for everyone to approach it, because people will become more and more knowledgeable about it and how it works.
Yeah, definitely. And the competition is on, so tweet at us once you're able to beat it solo or with 2 friends. It's going to be interesting for sure. But yeah, I mean, personally, I tried it on test builds, of course, before and on PDS as well. And the change in the difficulty was obvious. I mean, and I'm kind of happy with what we achieved with phase 2.
Yep. Yeah, I think phase 2 is much more where we wanted it to be. Phase 1, it felt off from the moment the PTS went live and people started playing it, and we watched the streams, and we went into the game ourselves and we played it, and we're all just realizing, okay, this is not where we wanted to be, and this wasn't what we had on our test built internally. So yeah, that was again super useful for the PTS to get that. So we had the chance to revisit that and make it a bit closer to our vision for PTS2. And it looks like we landed in a good spot. Of course, there's conversation about difficulty in general, and that's something we will tackle. But it is at least that difficulty, the one we had intended initially. I think we've landed pretty close to where we envisioned it initially.
Yeah, and talking about difficulty settings, we've seen a lot of feedback during all the PTS phases, and a lot of you guys asking whether or not it will be possible to introduce other difficulty options. I mean, we can't really promise anything right now, but we're looking into that. So at least we can say that.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing the feedback, and we don't want to take the choice away from everyone. So if it's clear that everybody wants to have a chance to play it, and just having the group size as the only factor here is not enough in terms of giving more granular options for everyone. So we're looking into that. It's a bit of a tricky thing, because it's not just as in, just turn on the challenging and hard and normal difficulty and whatever. That's not how it works, of course. Nothing is easy like that in video games. It's all quite more complex, but we're looking at how we could try to give a bit more control to everyone to cater the difficulty to their build.
So to summarize everything, would it be fine to say that the possibility of adding new difficulty options is under the investigation, and we're gonna collect more feedback after TU15 release and see what you guys think about the mod, and what other suggestions you would have after having your hands on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something we're investigating already, and but we also want more feedback. We want to hear from more people, because we also know that usually the population of the PTS is also a population that is more advanced, more experienced with the game compared to the population we have on the main game. So we want to hear that part of the feedback as well once the mod is available to everyone, and of course also console players that didn't have a chance to be on PTS. We want to hear everyone in terms of looking at where did we land with difficulty in the end, and then do we need to tune that difficulty, and do we need to add more options? And then can we do it? These are all the things we're going to be looking at moving forward.
Yeah, you heard the man. Keep the feedback coming. And I think that we pretty much covered the countdown, so let's just move to expertise feature. That was also a big part of the PTS, and we also collected tons of valuable feedback.
Yes.
And yeah, so here is the feature. I hope you can see the screenshot. It's probably would be valuable for those who were not able to test it on the PTS. And here we have the expertise menu.
Yeah. So as you can see, super straightforward, very smooth, easy to understand. No, I mean, expertise is it's a complex feature, and we always struggle to even sum it up in a few words, because it is advanced, and it is for advanced gameplay. But the idea with expertise is really to add a new way for players to gain power, and also making that a kind of a future-proof solution because since expertise is completely dependent on how many items exist in a game. As soon as we add new items, that means expertise can go up again, and that means players can become more powerful. So that was what we liked about this feature, is really the idea that, well, with every new season, every time we add new items, then we're also, by default, increasing the expertise, the maximum expertise cap, and therefore allowing players to gain even more power. Yeah, PTS was, again, super useful on that one, and yes, we had a lot of feedback on the progression pace, on the cost of all the upgrades, on the UI as well, on the screen. We made some changes to try to make things a bit more understandable, a bit clearer. So yeah, so thanks everyone for all that feedback. As usual, you know, these are things we're going to keep looking at, looking for feedback moving forward once TU15 comes out. And yeah, things may still evolve after that, depending on where all of you want us to bring it.
And I would also say that, I mean, of course, it's quite hard to describe this feature in few words, but a good thing about expertise is that it allows you to try all new gear and weapons that you weren't able or didn't want to try for different reasons. And that's an interesting way to enhance your playstyle. Yeah. I mean, of course, it comes with a cost, and the cost can be very high sometimes to become proficient in all the possible. Yep. So, but then again, that was one of the biggest learnings we took from PTS. And the cost reduction for expertise, what you're gonna see in the game in several days, it's an upgraded version of expertise.
Yep. Yes, it's we've changed some of the cost. We talked about that. We halved the cost for the upgrades from rank 11 to rank 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on top of that, for gear pieces, so like chest piece and knee pads and all of that, we've had that even more because it takes 6 pieces to actually upgrade your entire gear. So yeah, but I know that, you know, there were conversations from the PTS and from the moment we revealed the feature on like how grindy it is, but you know, the way we look at it, it's a passive thing, but it's going up as you play the game. So of course you can approach it as, okay, I want to max it out immediately, so I'm going to grind the hell out of it to max out everything and be, you know, amongst the first to reach the maximum power. And that's cool, you can play it that way, but it's also the good thing with expertise is just you don't even have to be aware of it, and you're still going to be increasing your proficiency. Because as long as you're using items, you're gaining experience until they become proficient, and then you need to use new items or you need to donate to gain more proficiency. But overall, it's just equip the items, forget about it, play the game, play whatever you want, and you will be increasing your expertise. So it's not asking you to play specific activities, to do specific things. It's just play the game the way you want, and on top of the usual rewards you get out of it, you're also going to be increasing your expertise, and therefore opening door for more power.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that was actually a very right decision for the team, and thanks for all the feedback, because otherwise we weren't able to make that one, to lower the costs, right? Because now it's not only that basically feature available to super hardcore players, but almost to, like, I would say that it's gonna suit almost all every possible play style.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's of course it is an endeavor to max out even one build in expertise. It's gonna be quite some time investment. But with the cost being lower now, we hope that we landed in a place where it becomes more accessible for everyone. And then there's another part of the discussion, which is, you know, thinking forward about future updates. But it's the other part of the problem is not necessarily just the cost of the expertise upgrades, it's just the accessibility of the resources. And maybe that's also something we need to look at, especially exotic materials, which is you know, extremely rare in the game at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And since those would only be reduced and cut in half from level 11 to 20, and other levels would still need the exact same amount.
After
So,
that, yeah.
it could be
21 plus.
quite challenging.
Mhm.
But then again, it's also a good opportunity for you to invest more time in the game, right?
Yeah, but it's always, once again, it's nothing is ever set in stone on a game like The Division. We can always change it moving forward, and so we'll see the feedback we get from the entire player base once it's out there. Now we've reacted to the feedback we get from the PTS, and if the feedback and the data we get from the game, because we always also look at data, if those two tell us a similar story of it's too slow, it's too grindy, then of course we will act. But let's start with what we have now, and we will see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm just trying here to advertise the hell out of this feature, but yeah, what he said. So
Daria just wants you to play the game for as long as you can.
I mean, maybe because I would need some help with expertise myself. So
it's right over to ask for that, because that's the reason why we're here talking about more content. It's because people actually still play the game, people love the game, people spend time into it and spend some money as well. So yes, the more you play, the better it is for us, and the more it guarantees that we keep supporting the game. But you play the game at your own rhythm. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, since I'm not a hardcore player. I'm just a regular person who enjoys the game, enjoys the setting, the music, having a chat with my teammates. So I can definitely understand the more casual approach to the game, and I would even say be an advocate of this part of fan base. So yeah, because we have pretty much everyone on the hardcore side in the team anyway.
you ask, I mean, that depends who you ask, right? Everybody has a very different definition. I'm like shade level 300, and I'm sure a lot of people would call me a casual, because I just put like 400 hours into the game, so.
Casual. I mean, mine is even less, but I want a name. So.
To be fair, there's a lot of hours that also go into the test builds and the development builds.
And
that doesn't get counted somehow.
It never gets counted. So. But yeah, I think enough with the complicated discussions. We still have some other nice things that we wanted to share with you. So, for example, Apparel event. I know that it's probably a big, leap from discussing expertise.
It's not everybody's favorite topic, but
yeah.
Come on, new outfits, new ways to customize your look. That's always fun. And yeah, as we said, we will have 2 of them in this season.
2 of them,
That's something we did with season 4, and yeah, people seem to be happy about it, and we were happy about the performance of those, so that's something we want to do a bit more. And we have, as I said, set up the pipeline to try to be able to keep that rhythm. So 2 of them in season 9. Fairview Crew being the first one.
Yeah, and our team is very passionate about creating new outfits, and especially with Pali, who is our art team lead, and it's hard to imagine anyone more invested in the game on the art side. So that only means that in the future we're gonna have even more cool outfits. And actually, why these 2 Apparel events are special is because we're gonna get the backpacks vanity for the first time ever.
Yes, that's true. That's something that we've wanted to do for a very long time, and Pali finally made it happen. But it's yes, we are going to start introducing the concept of skins for gear. So as part of those outfits in this Apparel event, you will also have, for example, for some of them, the backpack that will be part of it, and so that's basically a transmog the same way that the current transmog exists, except that they are unique and they are not linked to a specific item. You unlock it through the Apparel event, and then it's a new skin you can apply to your gear.
Yeah, and did we mention that going forward, every season gonna have 2 Apparel events?
Well, you did now.
here we go. I mean, that's
But yeah, I
exciting.
mean, we said that's our ambition, to try to keep it that way. And yes, it's that's something we want to keep going, because
Two Apparel events per season.
because
Yeah.
again, it's people like new things and like new looks.
I think my favorite Apparel event was the heat wave.
Oh no, you didn't.
Why? But it was so nice.
Probably the most hated apparel event in our
Right?
history.
So it's my favorite. I don't know where
I
you're
get
so salty,
PTSD from
guys.
it, but no, I think I don't know what's. I think the
Silent Night. was
Silent
a-
Night
yeah.
I think was
Yeah.
was my favorite, because just there were so many good outfits in this one.
But yeah, heat wave is still nice. I mean,
Some people liked it, which is cool.
recently someone asked Mortem on Twitter about the, merchandise and all the swag, and I went looking for possibilities, for those merchandise to be purchased somehow by players and whatnot, and I found out that we actually have the Division 2 flip-flops and like beach towels available on one of the Ubisoft websites. So
It's real life heat wave.
yeah, I'm just dropping this information here in case you guys are looking for a new beach towel or flip-flops before you summer vacation. So it's actually, it's the weirdest merchandise a game can have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order it.
No, but
later.
I take note, and I hope Palais is watching. So Daria is asking for more summer vacation themed apparel events, which I'm sure are going to be very popular. So let's do it.
I mean, blame me if it won't play out the way we want it. But yeah, I mean, since we already kind of dropped several hints on year 4 and what's going to happen with the game going forward, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room, spec revamp.
Like which elephant? There's a few of them. Yes, spec revamp. I mean, spec revamp, as you know, was initially planned for TU15. So we've put a lot of work into this. And the idea with spec revamp is to really change the way we approach specializations. Right now, for a lot of people, specialization is a choice you make, mostly for the passive buffs you're going to get out of it, and then you forget about it. And the use of the signature weapon is even more something, anecdotal that you may remember or you may not. Again, some people might use it more than others, but the game doesn't really answer well to you using your signature weapon, because we never really found the right spot between should it be powerful so it actually makes a difference, but then it kind of negates a lot of the boss mechanics we have in the game, or should we not be too powerful but then people don't use it. So the revamp, the idea of the spec revamp is to change that and make your specialization choice like a really crucial choice in terms of playstyle and the build you're going to go for. So that's why we've changed the way the specialization tree looks, and we've changed all the bonuses you get there. We've changed the way we're giving you those bonuses. Some of them will be directly under the linear progression as you rank up your specialization. Some others are going to be choices that you get from that tree. But one thing we wanted was to make those choices meaningful. So they are powerful choices. They are kind of build playstyle defining choices. And you will have to make difficult choices because you will not be able to specialize in everything. Some decisions will be mutually exclusive. So if you decide to go left, the right branch gets locked. Or in any way you will not have enough points to max out everything. Because that's where people then forget and stop caring, because if I maxed out everything, I just play the game and I don't need to think of how the mechanics work. So anyway, this is it's a big thing. It's a big endeavor. We really wanted to have it ready for TU15, but unfortunately it's not ready. And we don't want to rush it. We want to do it proper because it's important, and we really want that to be as game-changing as possible. So we don't really want to compromise on the quality and rush releasing it because we said it would be TU15. As we've said, we have a year of content. So if it's not ready for TU15, then hopefully it will be ready for the TU after that. But it is almost there, but it's not entirely there. So we want to take the time to make it as good as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can wait.
Sure, everybody's patient.
Yeah.
No, but it's you know, like we know we're here for the year. So it's something that needs to be okay. That if a feature is not ready, it moves to the next one. And again, we will hopefully talk more about it. There will be PTSs in the future and all of that. So we will have plenty of chances to show more, to talk more about that change and other things coming in the year, and try to make sure it lands where we want it to be. Yeah, it would have been great to have it in TU15. That was part of the package initially, but it's better to make sure we do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a wide array of really nice other things to play with, so it should be fine.
There's more to year 4, but this is not the topic of this.
Yeah. We will probably mention it somewhere.
But it is
at the time. Yeah.
It is something we've said, and I think we need to say with every occasion. It is not just U15. It is year 4. TU15 is the first drop, and there will be more drops, and each drop will come with new things, new seasons, and new content. And we have some plans. There's a bunch of things we want to do, as I mentioned, but we also want to hear a bit from the community what you want, and what are the things that where we should invest time and resources into. We've mentioned that we're operating with a smaller team, so we need to be smart with the decisions we are making, where we want to invest our time and resources, because we don't have the luxury of throwing 1 million people at problems. So we need to make the right decisions and look for the things that are going to be impactful. But this is not a decision we only want to do ourselves. We need to also hear from everyone what are the things that are meaningful and impactful to them, so we can maybe change some of the ideas we have, or decide, okay, maybe we wanted to do that, but turns out that this is more pressing for the player base, so this is where we should go.
Yeah, and that's a hint at what I should be doing by delivering the... I'll do that, no worries. That's fine.
Good thing we have a new comdev that's going to help us.
If the issue is going to be really pressing, like, I'm here, so just hit me up. But talking about
nice.
Yeah, that's very important. I'm not answering the comments or the questions that are not addressed nicely. So yeah, that's the thing.
As usual, negativity is fine, but it needs to be constructive.
Absolutely. And actually, talking about community, since we pretty much covered almost everything that we wanted, right? We talked about Countdown, we talked about expertise, new Manhunt, the continuation of the story, phase out, but scratch that. And Apparel events, PDS, new team, Bucharest team, and yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. And I'm thinking that the remaining time we're gonna spend answering your questions from the chat.
Sure.
And community managers were helping us with collecting the questions from the chat. So we have like a list of the questions we can try answering. And the first question is about when we will have crossplay. Yeah, that's. Do you want to take that one?
I mean, I think I've been pretty open about it, but it's not something we're looking at the moment. As I explained in a Twitter thread a long time ago, and I usually link that to that one when people ask me the question on Twitter, but it's that's not the way our saves work in the game. The online infrastructure, and that's coming from someone that is not online savvy, so I apologize if some of our online people are watching and I'm butchering it. But my understanding of it is that we have separate databases for each platform. So Xbox, PlayStation, PC, they all have separate databases. They don't communicate with each other. They don't know what's happening here or there. So if we wanted to do crossplay, the first thing we would need to do is put all those saves on one database, which means moving saves, which no online person would ever be comfortable with, because you can break a lot of things. And then it creates a lot of very complicated questions on like what happens if people have the same name? What happens if people already have a save on that other platform? What happens if this? What happens if that? All of that can be solved, of course, and we know it's not impossible, but it is such a huge endeavor and a very risky one at that. So it's not something that seems feasible or reasonable with our team.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. I mean, it's not the answer that you were guys hoping for, but at least that's honest.
I wish we could do it.
Will you address the crashes that have been happening? If we're talking about the deltas that happened a lot throughout all the 3 phases of BDS, then yes, absolutely. We made sure to locate, to identify the issue behind those deltas, and the issue is already fixed in the build. So let's go for the best, right?
It's always the same thing, right? We don't have one fix that's going to fix all deltas. So there might be new reasons, new issues happening when the update goes live, but at least the ones we have identified from PTS have been fixed. So if there are still delta issues when the update goes live, these will be new ones that we will investigate and fix.
Just because that's a wide array of issues actually labeled as deltas, so that's also good for you to know. And if we're talking about other issues that I won't name here, but I understand probably what this question is about, then those should be addressed in TU16, because that's something that I already discussed with our live producer, so we're good, we're on that. Let's see what else we have here. Will there be another DLC? That's a good question, but we already mentioned that it's going to be year 4, so list 2 more seasons.
Yeah, it's year 4 is more seasons, more content, and our plan for year 4 is the same model that we've had until now. The content is free, and the season has a season pass. We have no plans to make a paid DLC as part of this plan. So
yeah, and there are people already asking if TU15 is the last update. No, it's not the last update, so you can expect more.
I've said that a few times, yes.
Will you increase inventory storage space? I know that you also answered that one on Twitter like 100 times already, but it's probably a good, good thing to repeat.
Follows me on Twitter. It's probably better for their own sake and mine. But so storage space and inventory space, that's also kind of a complicated tech one, because at the end of the day, what more storage means is a bigger character save for us in terms of saving the data from your account. And when we made the last upgrade, which was, I can't remember if that was TU12 or a bit before that, we kind of pushed it to the extent that we were comfortable with. Pushing it further means this may have an impact on performances. This may have an impact on loading times. This may have an impact on traffic. This may have an impact on connectivity. This could have an impact on many, many things because just the sheer size of the save is going to increase. So it's something we want to be really cautious with. And the problem is we will always need more storage. Like, we keep adding new items to the game, and we don't remove items from the game, and we don't want to remove items from the game. So as long as we keep adding more items, there are people who just want to hold on to everything and just make more builds. So more storage is always going to be a question. So I don't know what the solution is. I want us to try to find one, but that might be a bit more creative than just saying more storage. There might be other ways out there that we can allow players to save more things without having to just have more space in their stash. And once again, this is just I don't have the answer to that question, but that's the way I would like to try to look at it with the team.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a good explanation. I mean, the technical side, there is the question that I really like, but I'm just going to highlight it here for Yannick in case he wants to answer that one.
No, we need to acknowledge that. PvP, yes.
Yeah, focus on PvP.
Yeah, the question is, will there be a focus on PvP? You know, we hear the comments. We know that there's a passionate PvP community out there, and that are playing either in the dark zone or in conflict. And there's a lot of conversation on, you know, the state of PvP in our game and the things that work and the things that don't. We don't want to ignore that, and you know, the changes to Shield, for example, is one instance where we try to do something because it's something we could do, we could afford doing, and that at least addresses one of the problems. There's other problems in PvP. So will there be any focus on PvP? I don't know, because that's, you know, that's not a matter of just wanting to do it. It's a matter of having the right team to do that as well. And the team we have, and it's not just Bucharest, but the team we have on the division is a team that is very much built to produce PvE content. That doesn't mean we don't want PvP, but that means, you know, right now we don't necessarily have the people that can allow us to have a pure focus on PvP. But on the other hand, I don't want us to give up on it. That's part of the game. That's something that our players like and want to engage with. So we need to try to find solutions. So this is not a commitment that there will be a focus on PvP, but this is just me saying, yes, we know, and yes, we want to try to make PvP better. And we may try, and hopefully it will be better. But it's so far we don't have any big PvP 2.0 path that is planned. If we do it, it's more going to be like we did with Shield, trying to address the main outliers, the elephants in the room, and try a few things here and there and see, does that make it better? Cool, we keep it. No, okay, we change, try something else. So it's going to be more iterative than one big revamp.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's not like we're ignoring the comments, and we see them and we acknowledge them, and that is something that team constantly discussing. Mm-hmm. So, but let's pray we're going to have the right person for that.
But it's just, you know, and we have a bunch of recruitments that are open, so it's also something we, when we talk about, you know, rebuilding a team, we are still rebuilding that team. So you know, one miracle would be to find someone that is super savvy about PvP and could help us. But it's not just that. You know, it's about looking at what's feasible with the game and how things work, and things that might seem simple to address when you play the game are actually extremely complex on our side, and so a huge investment for us to change, and that might be why we haven't addressed it. One of the problems why we are rarely speaking of PvP is because we don't have good news for PvP players. I wish I could come here and say, yeah, we're going to have a big PvP update, but that's not the case right now. But I hope at least acknowledging that yes, we know, and yes, if we can, we will try to improve and make things better. I hope is already something, you know, a right step for the PvP community to trust that we hear them.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen eventually. We just need to sit tight and wait. but yeah, as soon as we have news, you're going to be the first one to know. I promise you that. And let's see what else we have there. Will there be a new hunter?
There'll be a new hunter? That would be a spoiler. We said spoiler-free stream.
We just, and he already mentioned it, so wink, wink. There was a question about new skills. Can we have more skills, new skill variations?
So far, we haven't planned for it. We used to, with every new season, we used to give new variants with every season. We haven't done that for Season 9. The season reward is an exotic. And one of the reasons why we haven't done that is we don't feel like most of the variants we introduced with those seasons were actually super satisfying. Some of them ended up being just, you know, never used by anyone. There's a lot of variants that exist already. So for now, we'd rather focus on those and try to make those better before we start introducing new ones. So that's not the plan for the moment. Maybe in the future, but at the moment, the plan is to not introduce new ones with the seasons.
All right, sounds good. And there were several questions about Apparel events. Can we have more Hunter cosmetics? And can we please wear hat with Hunter masks? We want more Hunter apparel. But I think that's very good feedback, and we're definitely gonna discuss it with Polly and the team.
Yeah, I mean, at least on the wearing hats with masks and all of that, this has to do with the way our characters are built. So currently, if we give you a mask and that mask does not allow for a head piece to be on top of it, it's because we just cannot. It's not a creative choice because we don't want you to wear a hoodie with a hunter mask. It's just because the way our characters are made just doesn't allow for it. There are only specific type of masks that allow for headwear, and others just don't. So we try to have a mix of both, and there might be solutions we can look at, but it's if we try to find solutions, it will be for new things we introduce. It's not going to be retroactive, or suddenly the hunter mask can be used with a headpiece.
Yeah, definitely. Will you add a new map location? It's actually what Countdown is for, because that's a completely new map built specifically for Countdown.
Yeah, it is, and that's something that was important for us with with the new team taking over. It was an opportunity for them to learn how to make map, how to make content for the game, and how to make it feel like true to the history of the division and the way we used to do maps. So new locations, new spaces, of course, we will always be looking at adding new ones. If the question is, will there be a new piece of open world like we did New York with Worlds of New York? No, that's not our plan at the moment. But new maps and new spaces that you can discover through different type of content, yes.
Yeah. Will you ever add all loot exotics to general pool, not locked behind raid? Actually, that's what the new reward track is for this season, because you can get the exotic as a part of the season 9.
The exotics of that season.
Yeah.
But the raid exotics are still raid exclusives. We are making with tier 15, we are adding the chest piece and the backpacks from the gear sets of the raids. We are adding those into the general loot pool. So the gear sets are no longer raid exclusive. The exotics though are still raid exclusives, and for the moment we don't plan to change that. I feel like the gear set is already a good step. We don't want to take away all the exclusives from the raid, otherwise some people like to play the raids just for the fun of the experience, but others like to play it and be rewarded for it. And if we take away that exclusivity, then suddenly what is there to gain to play the raid?
Yeah. Is there anything else we can address from the pool here?
Will we ever have a postmaster? I see. It's a suggestion we see a lot, and the problem with it is, and that's something that's open for feedback and suggestions, but it's how do you handle a postmaster that knows what loot is interesting for you and what loot isn't? Because that's the problem. Is if you say it's a postmaster that gives you access to all the loot that you didn't pick up, and that means you already do a lot of inventory management when you finish an activity in the division. And now if we're saying, oh, but now you need to go back to the boot to go to that screen and go through the hundreds of stuff you didn't pick up to see, oh, wait, actually that one had good stats. Maybe I should have kept that one. That doesn't sound like a fun experience. So that's more the question. How can we do it in a way that that is smart, so you can filter and say, I just want to pick those items up, for example. I'm sure there are solutions, but right now it's not something we've put a lot of thoughts into, and we could, but at the moment, just because you need to find a filter system that just works for everyone, and everyone has a very different way of playing the game and a very different expectation of what is interesting for them.
Yeah, and sorting out all your inventory right now, it's already a task of its own.
It is. So it's again, it's something that is solvable, but it's not as simple as saying, oh, I want a postmaster that allows me, gives me a chance to look at all the loot I left behind. Because if you do that, the proportion of time you spend in your inventory is going to be much longer than it already is.
Yeah, definitely, and that's not the best solution here.
Will there be more legendary missions? It's, I mean, I think it goes to the difficulty conversation. And one thing that at least I can comment on is the fact that, yes, we know that with expertise, we are going to make players more powerful. Actually, with the spec revamp, we're also probably going to make players a bit more powerful because we're going to make spec weapons or signature weapons more powerful. So of course the question comes of like, okay, but what if you're that powerful? What's going to be the challenging content? And so far, the most challenging difficulty is legendary, and the raids. These are the two main challenges that remain in our game. So there's the question of extending legendary to more activities, and yes, that's something that's on our list of we would like to do, but that's something that it's not just the same, it's not a difficulty you turn on, it's actually something that is handcrafted for every mission that currently has it. So it takes people with experience with our AI or NPCs and the combat in the game to be able to look at a mission and say, okay, this is how we turn it into a legendary. So it's not something that was feasible right now until the team gets more experienced with the game. So in the future, maybe that might be something. And I'm not saying maybe as in, we may do it, we may have it in the plans already. It's more, we may consider it, but it's not something we've put on our plans yet. But the main question is really, how do we make sure we create a system where all that power you gain, you still have challenges ahead of you. It's more about difficulty in general with our game. So adding more legendary would just be a bit of a band-aid on the difficulty question. But at the end of the day, the real question is, how do we create new challenges for the players that are at the top of the top, and for whom even legendary is not really a challenge anymore, and it's going to be even less of a challenge with all of that. That's more the way we want to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we have time for one last question. So just there's a box of chocolate candies. Just choose one.
I mean, I can try to just shotgun a few of them, but any plans to consolidate the DC Dark Zones? Nope. But we would like to look at Dark Zone in general and see if we can improve it, but that's part of the PvP conversation, so it's something that probably will take some time, and we need the stars to align, or the planets to align, before we can look at it. Any update on anti-cheat and addressing cheaters? We have a running anti-cheat. I know it looks like we're not banning cheaters, but trust me, we are banning cheaters. Sometimes they just come back faster than we ban them, and sometimes it's all about constantly updating the anti-cheat with ways of detecting the new ways people are cheating. The reason why we are not discussing it is mostly because we don't want to reveal too much about how anti-cheat works and what are the efforts we are making, because it's not just we have easy anti-cheat, but we have also other things in the game as well. And also we are not publicly discussing people who cheat. We are not publicly confirming if someone cheated or whatever. So if you send reports to us and we are not commenting on those, it's because we are not publicly commenting on those. It's not because we're ignoring it. So, you know, we are looking at cheaters, and we are constantly trying to improve our anti-cheat, even though I know that it might not look like that to you. Will you still be revising the specialization tree? Yeah, we talked about that. Will the season pass contain the previous season's missions? Yes. Yes, that's a model we will keep. So as you play the season and you unlock the season rewards through the season track, you will unlock the previous climax missions from the previous seasons. Will you take hardcore mode out of beta? I would like to, and we have a bunch of ideas on how to do that. It's the same, it's a matter of, does that take priority over other things we want to do? And these are all things that can move over time. So ultimately, one day, yes. When? I don't know. Will there be more directives? We haven't added new ones with this update, with Season 9. That's something we may keep doing, but that, to me, directives falls into the difficulty conversation. So instead of just adding directives, I want that to be part of the general conversation on how do we create challenges and difficulty in the game, because that might mean we need to change the directive system as well. Inventory stash space, we talked about it.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything now. The PvP question again.
People asking about cancel the nightmare for gynecology if we will ever bring it back. No, we will not. We will not do it. We did very little work on it. We cancelled it early on because we quickly realized that it was just not feasible. So it's not as if, it just needs to be finalized. It would be something we need to completely redo. And that's really not something that is in our plans right now. I'd rather invest in making Candy better than creating a limited in-game event in Candy.
No more questions.
You took the screen away from me.
Because I mean, I know that you can just spend hours answering all the questions, and that's probably what you want to continue doing.
That's
but
okay.
yeah,
You know where to find
unfortunately,
me.
we're running a little bit out of time, and there are still 2 other things that I wanted to mention quickly before we say our goodbyes. So first of all, right after the release, that is on May 12th, just get the date. I don't know. Mark it in red in your calendars, whatever. Just ask your boss to get you a free day from work. But 2 more things. If you guys want to bring your friends or family or whoever else to try the Division with you, you're going to have a perfect chance to do that this coming weekend because the game is going free on all platforms from May 13th to May 15th. So that's a good opportunity. If you're looking for teammates, I mean, just ask your cousin, ask your little brother to be your supporter in the game.
And bring your friends, because the more people play the update, and the more it's going to look good to our bosses, and they're going to say, yeah, you can keep making content for the game.
Yeah, what he said. So yeah, that's, I mean, just tell everyone. Hit that retweet button once the tweet is out there. And actually there were another good announcement. If you're a streamer or a lurker or whatever, or you just like to support streamers, we gonna have a Twitch Drops campaign to celebrate Season 9. And that's what you're gonna get for watching the Division stream if the streamer kind of opted for to be a part of this campaign. For 1 hour or 2 hour watching, you're gonna get the Apparel cash, and for watching even more, you're gonna get exotic caches. So that's
it's all about that exotic cash.
Yeah, and rewards can be earned starting from May 12th and until the end of the month, so until May 31st.
Cool.
So support your favorite Twitch streamers and get some cool rewards.
Free exotics.
Yeah.
I'll take the free exotics. Or free exotic mats, depends what you want to do.
I mean, yeah, because people were answering if it's going to be possible to obtain them any other way. So yeah, that's your chance.
Maybe?
Two good things in one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that was super nice to sit here and chat with you as well.
How does it feel to be in this seat, in this spot?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of, I would say that right now, I must say that it feels like I'm in the right place. But if you would ask me like 2 months ago, I would probably still be all over the place.
Oh.
Oh.
Thanks, George. Trying to be discreet and all. So apparently Daria's mic is struggling from all this talking and all this cool stuff. So apparently it's up to me to do the outro, which is perfect because I had absolutely not prepared for it. But yes.
Can you at least show me for one last time so I can wait?
You can still see Daria. Yeah. So no, I mean, thanks everyone. It's great to be back. It's great to be able to talk about the game. As we said, we have a full year of content. Hopefully we will be able to stream more moving forward, but at least we are available and we want to interact and engage more. So please keep the conversation going. Any feedback, send it our way. Be constructive. but we all want to make the game better, and we all want to keep doing that for as long as we can. So thanks for your support. May 12th, TU15 is coming out. Log in, play the game, bring your friends, have fun, or do something else. That's okay to come whenever you're ready. We'll be here. So thanks for tuning in, and see you soon.